Welcome back to the Book Bros. I'm one of the Book Bros. My name is Stefan. Today we're going to be talking about Hail the King, written by Madblade. For a quick synopsis of this novel, our main character, Faye, gets transported into this world, into this little kingdom, and this kingdom of Zenith. But the thing is, he gets transported into a body that was essentially mentally disabled until he got transferred into it. So after he wakes up, immediately on a battlefield, his little kingdom that's essentially just a city is about to be destroyed, and he fixes it. The thing is, he has a little extra power, essentially a cheat. Not so much a system, but definitely a cheat. He's essentially being able to go into the world of Diablo, make characters, and get strong in that world. As the world that he is transported in has essentially a cultivation type system where they can get stronger with certain powers and get up there into that world. For my thoughts on the first 100 chapters, it's really engaging. It's a really different kind of isekai system type thing, as it even really isn't a system. It's more of like a cultivation cheat. Him being able to go into the Diablo world and get stronger there and make the different characters, like make a barbarian, make a healer, make a druid, make a necromancer, all in Diablo 1 world. And that's how he ends up getting stronger. And even later on, he can bring people over from that world to help him and help his little kingdom get even stronger. And the way that a normal human coming from Earth to that world and how he runs the kingdom and essentially just fights his way to greatness is really cool to see. The first 100 chapters isn't really slow, it's really engaging, but it definitely picks on later up. It starts going quick very, very quickly. But the first 100 chapters really lays down how the world is, what's happening, what you'll have to do to get stronger, and just the way that he has to like walk around the power dynamic of what's happening in the world. For rating the first 100 chapters, the plot I'm going to definitely give a 5 out of 5. It's really fun to see him just battle his way through and being able to like stabilize a little kingdom that he becomes in charge of, in the way that his relationships with the people around him slightly change, and just the way that the cheat even works, like him going to the Diablo world, beating the monsters in like essentially in real life, like person to person, and how even that is all established in the first 100 chapters. It's really interesting to read, and it gets even better after chapter 100. I'm almost done. It is a finished novel with 1276 chapters. I'm at like 1255, so it gets really cool, and I'm almost done it myself. Definitely gonna 5 out of 5. For subplots, there are some subplots that go on with the Kingdom of Zenith, and a little more, I guess, the way that the Kingdom of Zenith is, it's made up of little small kingdoms, right, like essentially dukedoms. They're called kingdoms. They're power ranked, right, from 1 to 6, with 6 being the weakest and 1 being the strongest. And then you have, after that, it's way later, like empire strengths, but that's like way later down the line. The first 100 chapters really talks about kingdom strengths, and his levels is a level 6 kingdom, so it's very, very weak. And so the subplots of how he deals with characters, like the subplot of him going to the Diablo world and getting stronger, the subplots of how he's dealing with Zenith and all those characters that are around, it's really interesting. Sometimes it gets a little just, not boring, just quick, or it's very, very slow. It's either one. It goes very, very quick, or very, very slow. And so you don't get a lot of time unless with some of the small ones, but then it gets boring. So I would say about the subplots about 4 out of 5. Because some of them are really, really fantastic, and some of them are a little slow, but then pick up again. For character and character development, definitely all the characters start getting heavy character development. The first 100 chapters are really stabilizing what Faye, the main character that shows up, his character, and the direction that it's going to be going, and even his fiance and all these other characters that are there backing him with the strength that they have in their little kingdom. All the characters start going in a really cool direction, and so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 for the character development, even in the first 100 chapters, and they obviously get more character development while it goes on, but just the first 500 chapters, the character development that you get and the character plot in general, like the baseline, is really cool to read. For writing and translation, this is a translated novel from China, And the translation is actually really, really good. The site that I use to read it is fantastic. You're gonna be able to find it real easy. They translated a couple other novels that I haven't reviewed yet, but there's a couple other ones on there, and the translation is really, really cool. Most of the chapters are really, really long. Like, they usually do it in parts, but they're really, really long chapters. Sometimes up to like 9 parts in like one chapter, so it's just really long, and they all come out within a day. So it's really cool to read. No grammatical errors that I've seen, or the spelling errors that I've seen. So top notch, 5 out of 5, I think, for that translation. It's really, really good translators. For foreshadowing and subplots, it's the normal foreshadowing, I think, when you get to these kind of cultivation novels. Like, obviously he's starting off weak, he's going to get stronger, and there's some things in the chapter 100 that start to really show, and you're like, oh, what's going to happen with that? But those usually, again, don't get fulfilled until later on, because then they come up again, and then they get dealt with at the time. But definitely the first 100 chapters are setting up really good foreshadowing for what happens way past chapter 100 in the way that he deals with it. Fantastic. Sometimes then there's like the little hints here and there about some things that happen, and that's why it's like a 4 out of 5 for foreshadowing, 100%. There's no plot holes as far as I understand. It's a really good, well-written book. Yeah, no, at least in the first 100 chapters, I can't think of any plot holes that kind of appear. So it's really well written. 4 out of 5 for foreshadowing, and that plot holes for 100%. The overall rating, I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, it's a really good novel. Especially the first one of the chapters, it gets you hooked in really, really quickly, and you really want to keep just reading the novel over and over again. Like, you want to finish it, you want to get to the end, you want to see how he deals with it. If he's going to say, like, use other characters from the Diablo world, if you know, is he going to keep using the barbarian? Is he going to become a necromancer? Does he grow with the druid? Like, all these things that the cheat gives him, essentially. It's really cool, and it's just a really cool concept of taking a game and putting him in a game as a cheat instead of just like a regular system that some isekais give. So it's really cool, really, really, really well. The age is definitely mature, 18 plus. He goes into nice detail when he gets married, and some of the wives, and with his fiance and stuff like that. Goes into nice detail about what's happening on his wedding night. So it's definitely 18 plus. It does get gory. There is sexy times. There is violence. You know, there isn't any racism because it's on a different planet, different world entirely. So you won't find any sometimes racism in some of these books. So it's really good. Definitely a 4 out of 5 overall, and I recommend it to ages 18 up. Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe and like. If you have any web novels that you want me to read, put them down below. They have to have around 100 chapters for me to read them, as that is a link that I like reviewing books on. So yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, stick around. Thanks for watching. Bye.